across 3 very different time zones, and quite something. As a little precursor, I just wanted to tell you guys that any donations made during the course of every show 10% of those donations go towards the World Health Organization COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. To date, until the 29th of March, we've raised €22.20. That's actually increased, so I will update that over the next couple of days. Today we're going to be listening to Nordi Blu, based in Los Angeles, Ronnie Adelbert, my father, down in Cape Town, and Karina Kasten in Auckland, of all places. Thanks for waking up so early.
No worries.
And what we're gonna do is I'm just going to play one of my favorite tracks, actually, from Nordi Blu. In fact, it's currently the only single on Spotify, but there are more to follow, I think. And I will introduce you to this very special song. So enjoy. We're going to talk about the production of the song and everything, so enjoy, everybody. Let me introduce you to Nordi Blu, all the way from Los Angeles. Hi, Cody. Now you're on.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Yeah. So I was really excited when the song came out, actually. Because of course we'd all been involved, like quite heavily involved in your journey, going through The Voice in Germany and all of that. So we were super excited. But how are things going? What's been up? What's been happening?
Things are going well. They were better before the pandemic, but since last we spoke, I moved to Los Angeles. Welcome to my Los Angeles kitchen. So yeah, good things have happened, which is exciting.
That's fantastic. And do you miss us in Berlin?
Oh, I do. I'm really thrilled to be here with you, Dom. It's a little bit of home. Although I'm obviously really happy to have gotten myself to LA, and I'm building a life for myself here. I think Berlin, I lived there for over 5 years, and I was in my young to mid to late 20s during that time, and super formative. So I miss Berlin like crazy. So if any of my Berlin people are listening, I miss you, I love you, and I think about you all the time.
Well, we'll miss you here too, but I think big things are on their way, right?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. Just as soon as I can be in the same room as other humans, things should be happening.
It's a very strange dynamic, isn't it?
It sure is. But in other ways, it's really wonderful because it's allowing us to do stuff like this. I mean, not that this wouldn't have happened without coronavirus, but I feel like artists are really being pushed and motivated to connect in ways that we haven't really been doing before.
Sure, absolutely, I agree. It kind of it's given us the space and the kind of the room to be a bit more creative in what we're doing and maybe a bit more enterprising, actually.
I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, so you told me like before coming on that you couldn't play for us because all your instruments are locked away, or is it just because you can't actually go and fetch them due to the pandemic?
Well, it's not really that. It's just that it's a total horror story. I won't bore you with it, but the company I hired to move me to Los Angeles went bankrupt the month of my move. So the week that I arrived in Los Angeles, I sold all my belongings. I didn't have $1 to my name. I moved in with my aunt for free rent. And the week that I arrived here in California, I got an email from them saying that they had lost all my money, including their own money.
What?
And that my belongings were sitting in a warehouse in Germany. And if I could please pay them the full amount again, so second time, then they would be able to pay their third-party providers and get my stuff to the States. But it took a good 5 months and a lot of ingenuity to figure out how to pay thousands of euros twice to see my belongings. So the stuff has arrived since, but I put it in storage immediately because I'm in a temporary living situation. So it was too much. But in June, I will have my very own place, and all of my instruments will be unpacked and in the space, and I will be able to perform.
I'm sure you're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I really am.
I can't believe it's a horror story.
Yeah.
But now, like, surely that's in fact, the lawyer amongst us would probably have quite a bit to say about that situation.
Yeah, I did think about bringing them to court, but, it was complicated enough getting myself to Los Angeles from Berlin. I just didn't feel like going into a legal battle in another country, in the country that I just left.
Oh, I can imagine. Oh, what a pain. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Oh, I can't believe that. I can't believe that. And tell me, you said recently that you've obviously joined Epidemic Sound. What are you doing for them?
Yes, I am. So shameless promotion. I hope some of my Epidemic Sound people are listening. So shout out to Epidemic Sound. I joined the company in January. It is a Swedish music tech company, music licensing. We like to say that we're on a mission to soundtrack the world.
Okay.
And so what we're doing is we're selling really cool subscriptions to our music library in a number of different ways, to different creators and different clients. I myself am an account manager, so I deal solely with what's called an MCN, multi-channel network. I'm not sure if that's something, it wasn't something I was familiar with before I joined the company, but it's the way I like to explain it is the relationship between the artist and the label is the same as the MCN and the YouTube creator.
Okay.
So I'm dealing with these multi-channel networks that handle an enormous amount of YouTube creators, and through their subscription with us, they can offer their YouTube creators over 30,000 tracks in an incredible royalty-free music library on all of their videos that they create, which is pretty sweet.
That's fantastic. Yeah, because it's quite difficult really to get to be able to have music online because of all the licensing issues. So to have like royalty free, well, I mean, I suppose it's not royalty free because you end up paying a subscription.
Sure, but claim free. So we're taking away kind of the danger and the pain point of ever having to be demonetized.
Sure.
So
flagging,
which is fantastic for any type of creator that needs music in whatever they're creating.
Totally. No, I think it's a great idea. In fact, like a couple of the videos that I did, a couple of years ago, were free, using the software that I was using, and then a couple of maybe a year or two after that, I started getting flagged, and I was like, "What's going on here?" They've obviously took their music off and started flagging people. So it's like, what? That's unfair.
Well, that wouldn't happen with us. If you had a subscription with us, it would be in perpetuity. So
that's so good, because that's definitely an option that I'm thinking of, actually. Definitely.
Awesome. I hope you'll join the family.
But do I have to use a German account manager, or can I use an account manager in Los Angeles?
No, it'd be a different setup because you'd be a single creator, so it'd be a different type of membership. But I'm happy to put you in touch with the right people.
Yay. That's great. And so now tell me, you were on The Voice, and we were all like very excited about it. I even remember having to be very secretive for a while.
Yes, I forgot about that whole time. Yeah, well, I didn't forget about being on The Voice, but I did forget about the months and months of kind of pre-production and filming, and basically all of my friends and family knowing but not being able to tell anyone. That was
how much really stress and gray hair you caused me because of that.
Yeah.
And tell me, and then you did the most incredible crowdfunding. You managed to. I've never seen a crowdfunding done like that. I can't believe that. It was amazing.
Thank you. That was. You want to talk about gray hairs? I think I may have gotten a few from that.
I can imagine.
I decided to not cut any corners and produce my album with a very well-known and, of course, very expensive producer right outside of Berlin. And to be able to do that, I'm not going to lie to you, the album itself cost 25,000 euros. And that is just for the 10 tracks, the recording and the production, and the mixing. So that's not even counting mastering or session musicians or anything else.
Wow.
And that is not money that I have ever seen in my bank account in my lifetime. So I decided to do a crowdfunding campaign. I set my goal to $12,000, not euros. And I think I did it over a month and a half. I probably lost a lot of friends and contacts because I bugged the shit out of people.
Spam.
And it worked. It worked.
It did. It did.
I met my goal within the time frame. I raised $12,000, and then the most incredible thing happened, which is that a silent investor agreed that if I reached my goal before the deadline, she, wow. Women can be silent investors too.
Of course they can.
She doubled the sum. So
that's incredible.
We made basically 25,000 euros within that campaign.
That's incredible. And now where sort of where along the timeline are you?
The album is finished. This has probably been the most painful timeline of my life. The album has been finished for over a year, which gives me a lot of shame and guilt, not because I haven't been working my ass off to get this album out, but a lot of things have happened. I won't bore you with them, but the German music industry was not particularly welcoming to my sound, which is a big reason why I moved to LA, which is, rather than kicking a dead horse, I decided to go find a new horse. So all of my money kind of then went to the move and to the new life. And then I got here and I underestimated, the kind of the scale of setting up an entirely new life. So getting a car, getting an apartment. It took me a while to find my job, although landing at Epidemic Sound is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. It didn't happen right away.
No.
By the time Christmas came around, I was pretty much ready to call mom and dad and say, hey, can I take that bedroom in the basement? So the album is, it's suffered greatly from some of those choices, which have all been towards music, but all take quite a bit of time.
Sure.
But the first single is out. It came out in Berlin in August. I hope you all listened to it. If you haven't yet, Skin, which we heard at the beginning of the session. And exciting news, my second single is definitely going to come out very soon, just as soon as I can be in the same room as my director and the people that will be in my music video. So
can't wait.
Yeah, not all hope is lost. It's called Eye of the Hurricane, and I'm super excited to share it with you guys.
Wow. You did it. You also, I remember you did a couple of videos, which I think you may have removed from your YouTube channel, if I'm correct. There were a couple of music videos you did, but they were live. I think they were live videos, right?
Oh, the live sessions in Nashville. Yeah, those are phenomenal. My friends came together to make those possible for me. They haven't been deleted. Okay. They simply are still under my former and legal name, Clody Rubin. Yeah. Whereas my new YouTube channel under Nordi Blu is Nordi Blu only.
Well, they're great. They're great videos. Everyone should go and have a listen and go and have a watch. They're fantastic. I really, really enjoyed those. What else can you say? Are you playing in a band? Have you got like band members at the moment? Obviously not at the moment.
I would like to continue the setup that I had towards the end of my time in Berlin, which is working with a musical director, which would just be a 2-person setup, including myself. I was working with a phenomenal music director in Berlin. His name is Owen Ross. Yeah. Absolutely check him out if you haven't. And what he did was he was playing electric guitar, keys, and then also playing a bunch of different consoles and synths and triggering sound. So that way we could really kind of stay true to my album sound while still having a really exciting live element to it.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to do that in LA as well. I had a candidate lined up. Unfortunately, things got too busy for him. So I am now starting to work with another person. And just as soon as we can be in the same room once again, we will get some practice going. And then once Eye of the Hurricane comes out, which should be, as I said, in the next couple months, as soon as things kind of settle, I will be doing a release show in parallel to that release. So that should be my first live performance in Los Angeles.
Oh, wow. I hope you get to film that.
Yeah, I do too. Well, I'll talk to my director.
You're gonna have to film it. It's gonna have to be filmed. I think the more film that artists get out there, the better. Actually,
I totally agree.
And I think it's it is the most engaging bit of content out there, and I just find that it's actually not such a difficult thing to do. Is to have video.
Yeah, it's true. If you're looking for higher audio quality, maybe not.
Sure.
Always, just because you have to mic everything, and it can be pretty expensive to get that type of gear. But if you just want some really nice kind of mood shots and make like a small reel of your live performance, I think it's so important. And you're right, not that difficult to do.
Totally. And I think the more people get on, I mean, even this type of stuff, I think people generally tend to get very kind of sucked into like a local scene or like a local rut. And they generally tend to kind of not think out of the box or out of the broader kind of scale of things. And if I look at what we're doing now and being able to go like across US, Africa, Auckland, New Zealand, like the potential is there to be global, to be truly global.
Absolutely. And I think for, people like us, and when I say us, I mean kind of like expats or repats or, it all seems that we all met in Berlin, but we're all from elsewhere, or, some of us have never met. I grew up in France. I grew up in the States. I lived in Berlin. My company's in Sweden. I think there's so much to be utilized there. And that's kind of what I was saying before, is I think this pandemic has given us so many, not even the tools, because I think they've always been there, but has given us the motivation and the necessity to tap into these things.
Totally agree.
Because they've always been there. We've always been able to do them, but we've never felt that they were necessary. And now that they are, we're seeing the most incredible kind of collaborative, live streaming, opportunities, which is great. Like, I'm thrilled to be here. It's so nice to be able to participate in a Berlin event with 2 other musicians from Auckland, South Africa. I'm sitting here in LA. It's phenomenal.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I just had yesterday I had a really good discussion with a guy by the name of Michael Watts, and that was truly fantastic. He was sitting in his studio in Surrey in the United Kingdom. So popping around the world in these different locations and different people, and I'm just sitting in my office chair.
Yeah, I'm in my kitchen, which also happens to be my office.
Why not? I mean, why not? I'm close to my kitchen, okay?
I hear you. My kitchen's kind of everything right now.
So where in Los Angeles are you actually?
I am in East Hollywood, which sounds very glamorous. It is not at all. And I'm living in I think it was like a 6-month temporary lease with a really lovely roommate and a couple of rambunctious pets. And I'll be moving. Actually, I literally, just before I jumped on this call, I signed my very own lease on my very own house in Echo Park, which is my favorite neighborhood in LA, or one of my favorite neighborhoods in LA.
Close to Santa Monica?
Sorry?
Is that close to Santa Monica?
No, Santa Monica is where my office is, which I miss very much, which is down by the ocean. But Echo Park, East Hollywood, they're all more to the east of LA. They're closer to downtown. They're very much inland. They're very kind of artist-run, gentrified, but not quite. It's definitely where like all the good music and the venues and the creativity is. So I kind of had to make an executive decision, which is that I have a really bad commute to work, but I've also got like my community and my art, as well as like a really wonderful neighborhood around me. So it's just a choice I had to make. It's a very real choice you have to make in Los Angeles.
Yeah, but it's massive. Like,
I spend about 3 hours in the car every day.
Oh my word! Yeah,
when I'm allowed in the office and there isn't a raging virus in the world.
A rambunctious virus.
Yeah.
We just recently launched an office there, the company that I work for, outside of what I do here. Also in Santa Monica,
That's kind of where all the tech stuff is.
This whole situation is just like it's just causing so many issues. Like, I really hope that we can get over the top of this and get past it for sure.
Definitely.
Sure. Now, I wish you had your guitar with you so that you could do a song. But you know what? You know what? There's always the next time.
I know. There's always the next time. I will be up and running very soon, and I'll be excited to. I could even play an acoustic version of "Eye of the Hurricane," which I think would be great fun.
Now we're talking. So the minute that comes out, then we can tap into you and we can do a live performance. That would be good.
Yeah,
that would be good. That would be great. And are you still in touch with some of the Berlin musos? Yeah, I'm sure you are.
I am. Not as much as I used to be. Obviously, we're all very much still following one another on social media, and we'll kind of interact in that way. But we're not. I miss the collaboration. I miss writing sessions and working with different producers and creating music both for myself and for others. I had like quite a network in Berlin, both professionally and personally, and those were very difficult to leave. And I definitely miss the comfort of that, and also the pleasure of working so closely with other people. So I'm really hoping to build that for myself here in LA. And who knows? Maybe I'm trying to keep the one I have in Berlin, and I hope to kind of return triumphant one day and throw a banger of a show again.
Yay! Oh, it's so good.
That last show in Berlin was incredible. So I hope to top it, although difficult to do.
Well, the one at Bobu? No.
Yeah, my farewell show at Bobu was
that was incredible. That was incredible.
Yeah.
But you can do that. You can do that again and again and again. But let's just get rid of this virus first.
Yeah, please. Let's take care of that.
Good. Anything you want to say to the people? Can I tell you something now? That we've got 40 people registered. 40.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for listening to me babble about Los Angeles traffic and other things.
Well, that's what we want to know, actually. And I think there are a couple of newbies. There's some South Africans down there. We've got some people in Auckland, Australia. We've got people everywhere. And definitely keep an eye out on Nordi Blu. This is going to come and hit you in the face.
Thank you so much, Tom. It was a total pleasure having a little bit of Berlin here in my kitchen in Los Angeles. And I have to, as I told you earlier, I'm really sorry. This is very poor form. I won't be able to listen to the other two artists because I'm actually on the clock and in the middle of my workday. So I have got to get back to work. But again,
that's not entirely true. You can watch it after the fact.
Oh, perfect. If you're recording it, I will watch it after the fact.
So you can still watch it here on Crowdcast. You'll also be able to watch it on YouTube. And I suppose this is a good time for me to say that there is a donation scheme that I have envisaged.
Yes.
And how the donations work is that 10% will be paid to the World Health Organization, to the COVID Solidarity Fund, and 75% go to the artists, and 25% come to me at DA Musical, just so that everyone knows. I am also building a Patreon group or a Patreon account, so you can also go and do that. There is a click to action if you want to support this kind of content, and you're also then supporting artists in turn. So come and join me, and you'll come and see. Maybe if I end up with 10 groupies on my account, then you get a private show with Nordi Blu with her new single.
Hey,
now you're talking, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, we could probably make it work. But before I tune out and I leave you with these the two wonderful musicians that are up next, I do want to say to anyone and everyone who's listening to please remember, we've always been, starving musicians, but this time is especially difficult. I myself find myself in a very privileged position because I am working for Epidemic, and I do have a salary, and my music is 100% music, or my life is 100% music, which has been such a blessing. But a lot of your favorite artists out there who are independent are not making any money right now, are not, can't work with people, can't gig, can't tour, and are trying to find solutions as best as they can. But if you can help your favorite artists, just like you're, ordering out from your favorite restaurants at the moment, I absolutely beseech you, implore you. It's a tough time, and any help I think is wonderful. So that's going to be my sign off.
Well, thanks for the support, and I think absolutely. Anything helps at this stage, and just to keep the support coming through. $1 or $2 is definitely handy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cody, thank you so much. Lovely to see you. Nordi Blu, everybody, and keep in touch, and you'll see a couple of really interesting things coming out from this wonder.
Thank you so much, Dom. Thanks again for having me, and have a wonderful rest of your session. I will watch after the fact.
Fantastic. Nice to see you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Cheers. All right, so we're going to be moving on to my father, actually. I just wonder where he is. We'll just see, just going to give him a buzz. Oh, there he is. Popped into screen. How are you doing?
Can you hear me, Dom?
I can hear you very well.
Oh, fantastic. How wonderful to be back in Berlin, Dom.
Yeah, what a fantastic thing. It's I think this has been a good experiment thus far. It has worked. The only thing is that it gets a little bit hungry on the data, I think. I just want to see if this will help. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Sometimes it does a bit of freezing, and I'll get to the bottom of this.
You're doing a fine job, Dom. Thank you.
No worries. How's your isolation going?
Well, it's a unique situation. We've never been in anything like it. There are elements of it which are serene and quiet, and give opportunity for contemplating and obviously also creating. But there are scary elements of it. I can't deny it. We happen to live in a really beautiful part of the world. We overlook False Bay, right at the tip of Africa. It's truly gorgeous. Maybe we should post some photographs of where we're at. So it's lovely being here, and I'm looking forward optimistically to the other side of the pandemic, I must say.
As are we all. Would be nice to get outside for a change.
Yeah, we haven't left the house other than to go and do some shopping. But we haven't really left. We haven't left our premises for 6 days now. We've been in lockdown for 6 days.
But something that I've noticed is that over these 6 days, you've actually been sending some more videos onto the YouTube channel.
Oh man, I'm so into it because I've discovered the power of that, and you get better at everything you do. You always get better at it the more hours you invest. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I sometimes get concerned because one doesn't want to proliferate the social media, the Facebooks of the world with one video after another. So one needs to issue them, with some kind of rhythm. But yeah, I love it. It's absolutely wonderful. And it gives you ideas about the songs that you'd never had at the time when you might have recorded them or performed them.
Yeah.
So my next idea is to try and do a video where I play all the instruments, including the bass and the drums, wow, and then do it like an own in-house play it forward. One of those things.
That's going to be interesting. You're going to have like a split screen video.
Yeah, and all that. I've got a video editing suite now, which is truly baffling. I mean, it stretches my IT competency way beyond.
What's that? Is that Filmora?
It is Filmora, yeah.
Yeah, I use the Pro version, which is even more baffling.
That must be mind-boggling beyond.
But I can tell you something now, that there's one because I did 1 or 2 edits for you which were quite easy to do. The magic is that you can just add the video and the audio together, and then it syncs it automatically.
That's a great benefit. Yeah, that's a huge benefit.
Big benefit, because to try and line up a video with audio and to kind of have to do a clap to do it, it's still very taxing. Yeah.
It's very taxing, yeah. But I'm using the audio from my Zoom IQ7, which is a tiny little stereo microphone, and it was dirt cheap, and it just slots into the plug of the iPhone and gives you really quite fantastic quality. And it's a stereo. You can either have 90-degree stereo or even 120-degree stereo, and it really is high end. Obviously you can't plug your guitar in, because that's the only mic that you're recording the actual audio onto.
Sure.
It's great fun.
And tell me something. You don't use Audacity anymore with you don't record on Audacity at the same time?
No, I do, but I'm not using that track for the moment because of the fact, because I can't sync it up easily. Yeah, because I don't have the video editing capacity.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm also thinking the more atmospheric the actual shoot is, and the more engaging you can be with your storytelling or whatever you're doing, that's actually the more important thing. The actual video quality, as long as it's kind of within reason.
Agreed.
It's good enough,
Agreed.
I mean, I'm often amazed. You at the Tiny Desk Studio, you have someone like Jackson Brown, and even the Dave Matthews, the recent one that he did there. You could see that it wasn't really a stage quality, and he was nervous. They were both nervous, but it comes across as an authentic experience.
Correct.
And I think groups like Mandolin Orange, they do that all the time. They're not really focused on high-end audio. They're just focused on the actual energy of the moment.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's totally correct. But in saying that, I wonder whether it's a good idea to unleash one of those guitars that you have there.
Oh, you mean one of these Lakewoods that I'm sitting with?
Yes.
Well,
wow, that's quite bassy, actually.
That's bassy and big.
Might just turn the gain a little bit down there. There you go.
How's that? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, love this baritone.
Oh, that's perfect.
So, what do you think I should do, Tom? I was thinking maybe leave your light on. What do you think?
I have a feeling that would be exceptional.
Yeah.
What you might just do is just preface the song, and where it comes from, and a little bit of background and.
Yeah, I was recording an album at our home, which is what we selected eventually to do. We decided not to go into a studio, and my producer Johnny Blundell, who knew our home, which of course you knew as well, Dom, in Raspberry Close. He said that this house has the perfect ambiance and also the acoustics to be able to record. And of course we were able to spread out the drummer, and to separate the individual contributions. So we were in this house recording, and we'd got to about day 3 or whatever. And there was a song which I was working on it. I'd written one verse of the lyric, and I was sitting playing the riff, which is this. I was playing that to the bass player Roger Bashu, whom of course you also know.
Yes.
And are you getting enough signal on my voice?
I sure am.
Okay. So Roger was immediately into this song. It's got a 5/4 time signature, and it kind of lends itself to bass. And he was playing the bass along with that riff. And of course, immediately you can always sense when that energy comes together, and you know something good is busy happening. So Roger and I just jammed on it for a bit, and then we played it to Dave Langeman and Johnny. Dave is the sound engineer, and they both said, we've got to record this. So I said, well, I only have one verse, and Johnny said, you better write another verse. So I did that night, and then the next day we actually recorded it. We did a live take. So in other words, we played it all together. We didn't layer anything. And I was also singing the vocal with the guitar part, which later on we did lay vocals over it, and we couldn't get rid of the initial vocal because, of course, it had bled into the guitar track. Anyway, as it happens, that was a very nice effect. And that song became Leave Your Light On. It's a song which was born from an anecdote told to me by my dear friend Mert Black, who said when his daughter had gone to study in South America, or perhaps it was like an exchange. She was gone for 6 months or a period of time, but he and his wife would very often leave her bedroom light on at night. You know the way you do, because you say, oh, you know, the teenagers will come home later, so we better leave a light on for them. So that was the story he told me. And at that time, our own children, including you, were traveling and moving worldwide, and so I could relate to that emotion. So that's the origin of the song.
Okay, well, it's one of my favorites. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, it's been good to me. It's the one that actually has resonated with people. People seem to relate to it, which is interesting, because the 5/4 tempo isn't immediately engaging to an audience. But yeah, there you are.
Well, it's got a lilt, you see, and I think the lilt is certainly what. Exactly.
And of course, the actual recording has that magnificent vocal by Nonzi Galada at the end, which she just scats over it.
Oh, beautiful.
In a fabulous manner. So I urge everyone to listen to the full recording, which is on Spotify and Deezer and all the other many platforms.
I will leave some links to the artists in the chat so that people can go and have a look.
And by the way, all of you out there who have joined in support of this initiative, and who are mates of ours and people that we may not have seen recently, who's sitting in Belgium or wherever you may be in America or Singapore or Bangkok, Jan Skorupa. Hi. It's lovely. Lovely.
It's great. It's great. You know, we're building a community of artists and of audience members. But
I think it's such a great idea. It's such a great idea.
That's awesome. But we look forward to hearing this.
Okay, let's
leave
do
your
it
light
then.
on.
Leave your light on when you go, so you will find your way back home. Leave your light on. Life is easy when you know where you have come from. When you grow, life is easy. And when you're living far away, we will remember every day to leave the light on. Leave the light on. On a stormy winter morning, I may wake up in your bed in the morning, and all the pictures on your wall will end up hanging in my head in the morning. And though we live from day to day, there is still so much more to say. Little light on, little light on.
Wow, Leave Your Light On. Ah, beautiful. From the album Leave Your Light On.
Yeah, the track became the name of the album, Leave Your Light On. Of course, there is the Santana Leave Your Light On. There are other songs by that name, but we only realized that afterwards.
Well,
but that's my one. That's my one.
Ours is the best.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I've just shared Nordi Blu and Riding Albert's Spotify links in the chat. So go and give them a follow and go and listen.
Thank you.
My pleasure. We've got quite a few amazing people in here. Actually, you'd be surprised. Pips Black is here. Pips and
is Pips there?
Pips is here. Brita, Sean Wilson Smith is here.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah, plenty of people. It's fantastic to see everyone here. So, guys, what you can do is you can certainly give me a follow. Give me a follow on the channel, so on the Crowdcast channel, so that you can be notified of all the new shows that are coming up. Just out of interest, I've had some discussion, and you'll be interested in this, perhaps, because you love luthery. I've got two luthiers that are going to be coming onto this platform in the very near future to show me the insides of their lutheries.
Oh, that's cool. I loved the show last night with Michael.
Yeah.
Who's clearly a player, but also a luthier aficionado, as I am. I mean, I love playing the guitar, but I also love the whole concept of how a guitar is built and the woods that they use. And when you're in a luthery, you smell the wood and you work with the wood. It's a wonderful environment.
No, it really is, and I've been watching a couple of channels, and of course Michael has actually done a lot of these interviews personally, which would be incredible to actually do once I've met these luthiers. But what would actually be quite a nice thing to do is actually give us a little bit of information about the guitars that you're playing and where they're coming from, and where is Lakewood? What is that all about?
Yeah, look, I mean, as you know, we have traveled back and forth to Germany frequently over the decades, and we always would go and visit my parents living in the Bavarian Alps, in the Bavarian forest, apologies. And we would come to a certain railway station on the way, and they had this magnificent bookstore. And there I would always buy my supply of guitar magazines. So I bought my particular supply on this occasion and was reading through on the train and came across a review done on a baritone guitar. And I had for some time been interested in the concept of a baritone guitar, which is tuned like the cello equivalent in the guitar family. So it's, where a violin and a viola sit up in the upper register and the double bass way down at the bottom. The cello sits in the middle.
Yes.
in that baritone range. So the concept of playing a guitar that's sat in that range was very appealing to me. I'd never played one. So I read this review, and it was about a guitar called a Lakewood guitar, which interestingly is a German guitar, although it has the name Lakewood. And I think they did that in order to appeal to worldwide players. Yeah. So the review was good, and the guitar was not naught, wasn't cheap, but it was not, it was not fiercely expensive. So I made contact. There was a number there that you could contact. So I phoned this number, and the guy that answered it was Martin Zeliger, who's the owner of the company and also the chief luthier. And he says, yeah, well, how can I help you? I said, well, I read the review on the baritone and I'd love to try one. He says, what would you like, mahogany, or which model would you like? I said, well, that very one that was reviewed. He said, well, give me your address and I'll courier one down to you tomorrow. And if you like it, you pay me and you keep it. And if you don't like it, just send it back to me. So that's what happened. And the very, very next day, this courier arrived and delivered my Lakewood baritone guitar, and that's the one that you just heard in Leave Your Light On. And since then, I've bought and sold numerous Lakewoods. I've become very deeply involved with the company. I support what they do. It's a small lutherie. They have about 16 luthiers working there, so not that small, I suppose. No. Way smaller than Taylor or let alone Martin or anything like that. It's they make 80 guitars a month. That's what they do.
Yeah, which is little.
And so I have a number of Lakewood guitars that have stayed with me, and I have a number that I have distributed here in South Africa and elsewhere for Lakewood. And then finally, I ended up spending a 5-week spell at Lakewood in Gießen, near to Frankfurt, at the invitation of Martin, and who said, why don't you just come over here and build your own guitar? You get yourself an apartment and come in every day. You can have my bicycle and you can cycle into work every day. And in 5 weeks, we'll build you a guitar, or you will build a guitar with our help. Wow. So, and that relationship has remained in place. I love the guitars. I'm not going to say they are the absolute best, but they're good enough for me. I love them. They sound gorgeous.
They are incredible, and I've had the pleasure of doing sound for several Lakewoods actually, and not just yours, some others.
Yeah.
And I find the way that they are able to really kick out this incredible bass. This bass, this bass vibrance is just something, and it's not just one instrument. They all do the same thing, and I would love to. I'd love to actually have a discussion with Martin on this very same channel to discuss how it's possible that all of his guitars give the same bass kind of resonance.
Of course, he may not be prepared to tell you.
Probably not.
But my own guess is that one of the reasons is that they do curve the table of the guitar, as Michael called it yesterday. Let's just call it the top. So that part of the guitar where the sound hole is the round hole under the strings. That part on the back is always curved on most guitars, except really cheap ones. But the top is not. I mean, Martin guitars, for example, are not curved on the top, and nor are Gibsons really. Except for the arch top guitars, which are carved. But Lakewood guitars are stress bent, so they're formed in a special piece of apparatus, which gives the top also a curve, and that places the top under stress, which is shared via the framework. It's the bracing. Yeah, there you go. But remember, that's where the strings end. That's where they pull. It's from that point, which is attached via the bridge to the top of the guitar. Yeah. And so that, I think, is one of the reasons. And also, I know Martin Zeliger is very keen to achieve a non-generic sound on his guitar. So he doesn't want, like winemakers, they want their wine all to taste the same, preferably year on year, which is impossible. Yeah. And with guitars, it's also not really possible. Each guitar will have its own individual sound. Sure. But in my experience, Lakewoods do sound different to Martins or Taylors or Gibsons. They sound different.
I mean, I don't think I've actually played a Lakewood that is strumming friendly. I think a lot of the guitars that I've come across from Lakewood are very vibrant but very fingerstyle driven.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, certainly if you're going to be a flat picker, then your Martin Dreadnought is going to be the way to go. And if you then listen to a Gibson, Gibson's got that quite a thuddy, sort of almost like a dull sound. you know, the J45s, those kind of guitars are not. They've got a deep growl to them. Lakewood Free sits in the middle. It's also got a growl, and some people don't like the sustain at the top. They find it a bit thin. Yeah, you know, each to his own.
That's true. But I mean, you've really grown into your guitars, and it's certainly come across that way. Yeah. I'm just wondering whether we should do. We've certainly got time for another song. We've got about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to dial into the far corner of the world. What is that? Still the baritone?
No, it's not. This is my M31.
I see.
And how's the sound for you there?
It's peaking a little bit, so you might want to just dial back a little bit there.
Yeah, I can dial. How's this?
Better.
Is it okay?
Certainly better.
Okay. Well, I can do it. I can take it down.
No one is complaining. Everyone is watching and listening, so that's good.
So, just maybe to tell about this particular guitar, this is my most recent Lakewood. And you'll recall, Dom, it was delivered to your apartment, if I'm not mistaken.
It certainly was.
There. And this is interesting because it's a 13 fret to the body. So the neck joins the body at the 13th fret and not at the 14th, which is kind of where most guitars end, or the 12th, which is where the classical guitars usually end.
Correct.
And your little Robert Johnson style, those kind of double O guitars, they also might generally end at the 12th, join at the 12th fret. Not only that, but it's also a shorter scale length. So Eric Clapton uses the OM Martin model, which has also got the short scaling, and it makes it easier to bend, you know, because the tension of the strings is slightly less. And I added a sound port to this one, so it has a.
Oh, you did. That was done by our friends Matthew and Matthias from Cassini.
Yeah, they did a fine job, and what that does, it feeds the song to me. Obviously, the sound always emerges out of the sound hole, which is good for the benefit of the listener, but for the player, you don't necessarily get that full benefit. So the sound hole does add a little bit of tops to the sound that you experience when you play the guitar.
Reminiscent of the story Michael was telling about the first guitar that was sent over to London for the London Guitar Show. And they literally sort of kind of bashed a hole into the wall of their guitar before heading over to London. That was one of the stories from yesterday. Very funny.
He's a good player. He's a lovely player.
He is.
What amazing was he played a song in the key of C, but with the guitar tuned to dadgad.
Yes, he did.
So that is a definite, like a. It's an algebraic equation there.
He is of that ilk.
Yeah.
What are you playing for us now?
So I thought I would play Brother.
Brother
is a song written about Nelson Mandela. It was written at the time when he died, and I was overcome with thinking about this man who'd been so powerful in South Africa's history. Spent 27 years in prison, which is a hell of a thing on its own. And I suppose, in a way, it's a little bit of a dirge for the fact that he did die and we didn't manage to have him around for long enough. So here it is. It's called Brother. fled. Three mules returned to the valley below. Leopard, leave them alone. Two black eagles circle in the cobalt sky. Prisoner, set us free. You are who we might be. Look over all the children at their daily bread, walking to where you might have led. Better, you will return to the valley below. Never leave us alone. Your long walk to freedom will be done. Will be done. Will be done. Brother in arms, father of the nation, look over all the children for another night, and then your long walk to freedom will be done. Will be done. Will be done. To freedom will be done. The work to freedom will be done.
Brother. And that was actually from your most recent album.
Yes, that was from Memories of Rain.
Exactly.
Of course, albums have now fallen by the wayside because I've done a lot of other recording outside of albums, just DIY recordings, but they are all on Spotify and Deezer because I've just released them personally.
Good.
I'm not really sure in the value of albums anymore as such. I kind of think singles might be the way forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that was thoroughly enjoyable.
Thank you, Dom. It's been great.
Thank you very much, and again, thank you for being one of our groupies as well as being one of our artists. I think that's the only one of us is that can wear that crown.
Thank you, Dom. Thanks for inviting me, and thanks to Clodie for at least giving us the benefit of her stories. Next time we see her, I hope she'll have her guitar.
Oh yeah,
and I'll be watching eagerly at Karina performance from New Zealand. Good
Absolutely. On you. Well, thank you very much, Paps. Rani, have a fantastic evening, and chat to you soon.
Chat soon, Dom. Cheers.
Cheers. You can just hang up the call there. Okay. All right. Karina, are you with us?
11111.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great.
How are you going?
I'm good. How are you going?
Good. I just wanting to get, just wanting to see if my dad's going to turn off the camera there, maybe. Let's see. Okay. All right. Do you want to turn your camera on, Karina, and kind of give us a... Are you still in your pajamas?
No, but okay. When I look at the people, can I see who is there? Like it says the people.
Yeah, so you can see you
Okay.
can see who's watching actually.
Okay, but I want it to be off view for the beginning of the show.
That's all right. I'm sorry I couldn't access your messages because the Google Meet is actually streaming. That's I stream that program. That's how this thing works.
Okay.
Okay, so
Cool.
you're gonna now you can start.
Okay, cool. I'll start. Hang on a second.
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Electric sheep. Electric sheep. Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Turn the page on the day, walk away. There's sense in what I say. I'm 45th generation Roman, but I don't know what. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left, 'cause as a waltzing Matilda, who come a waltzing Matilda with me? Choose life, choose a job, choose a career, choose a three-piece suite on hire purchase and a range of fucking fabrics. Choose sitting at home watching Mind Numbing Spirit. Oh my God, I totally didn't know what to do because everything just went so weird, like when the world fell apart and like when I went to the valley and all my friends just decided that everything... The monarchs are so disappointed in their grandson who's left the monarchy. The empire is falling. What are the colonies going to do? Once a jolly swagman camped by a billabong under the shade of a cooler bar, cooler bar, cooler bar, cooler bar, cooler bar. Headphones in while the world keeps reeling. Just a sunken rat feeding your own meaning. Behind closed doors, in our dreams, they communicate beyond our very means. This is our version, diversion, derision, sleep deprivation, street depraved. I'm amazed to see the haze behind the blazing sky. This maze keeps making my eyes dry. Try to see the forest through the trees in your mind's eye, endlessly. Endlessly, sleep deprivation, street depraved, amazed to see the haze. The zombies are taking the breath from our faces. The vampires are sucking the neck of our graces. Nobody's free from homeostasis. We're running amok, we're covering bases. The zombies are taking the breath from our faces. The vampires are sucking the neck of our graces. Nobody's free from homeostasis. We're running amok, we're covering bases. Covering bases. Covering bases. Covering bases. Constantly asking about the light of a spark as we sat on the grass, parking our arse. Are we gonna get mugged in the local park? Ended up thinking downtown in the dark. pavement awash with the fear of near death, light up the spark of a cigarette, but also just feeling the breath of this angel called Gabriel on the back of my neck. The zombies are taking the breath from our faces. The vampires are sucking the neck of our graces. Nobody's free from homeostasis. We're running amok. We're covering bases. The zombies are taking the breath from our faces. The vampires are sucking the neck of our graces. Nobody's free from homeostasis. We're running amok. We're covering bases. Covering bases. Covering bases. Covering bases. Headphones in while the world keeps reeling, just a sunken rap feeding your own meaning. Our linguistic vocabulary is receding. Sleep deprivation, sleep depraved. I'm amazed to see the haze behind the blazing sky. This maze keeps making my eyes dry.
Wow, that's incredible.
Cheers.
Karina, how are you?
I'm great. Is everything working? I just had this thought that nothing was working.
It's all working. It's all brilliant. It's all coming across. I might just have forgotten to actually put your name on the screen, and there we are. We have to remember that this is still an experiment, so that people must just remember that one or two things might go a little awry.
Yeah. No worries. Can I possibly see, like, when is there a way to see how people have joined?
Yeah. So if you go on to there are like 16 people live at the moment and 53 registered.
How do I see that? Sorry.
You have to actually be on Crowdcast on the actual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no.
So only you can see.
Well, I can see it, but
I can't see.
No, everyone else can. If you are on the Crowdcast, you can actually see who is there.
Isn't? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know how to do that now. But I have to go back to the actual thing rather than the Google Meet thing.
In any case, the people are there. There's some fantastic people from all over the show.
Can I just say hello?
Absolutely.
I just wanted to say hello to everyone. I don't know exactly who's here because I don't know how to press the right buttons. But I hope you're having an okay time and using this time to like find creative things you didn't know about and find strength within yourself. That's my Om Shanti to the world right now.
Well, it's how apt it is. How apt it is. I think I was saying this to somebody the other day that like it could be very easy to be kind of sucked into like this vortex of negativity and despair, but I think we've been given time. I think we're freezing a little bit there. Just 1 second. Yeah, so we've been given time to be creative and to come up with things that are working. And we've got someone from Nuremberg watching. This is incredible.
Yeah, I was just having a look actually.
Criss-cross is here.
Criss-cross.
Yeah.
Oh, hey!
My aunt from South Africa, Susu, is watching. Thank you.
Oh my God, Berlin friends! Yay! Hello, Berlin friends. Yeah. I'm excited.
My cousin Sean is watching from South Africa. So there's some amazing people actually.
So can I do another song?
For sure. And then we want to know how you produce all of these songs.
Can I tell you that after I do the songs?
Yes, please.
Is that all right?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Yeah, basically, this song's been a long time in the making. Just, yeah. Pterosaur, dino, albino, rhino, relegated to a victim or phantasmagoria. Sometimes I was dino, ptero, so that front claw standing on a precipice. The rocks become the edifice in which the glass will splinter, crack into the crevice. Little twinkles in the crevices. Please take preventative measures to placate the predators. From praying your placenta is prehistoric, preternatural, or rectal. It's not Jurassic, it's Cretaceous. Sometimes I was raised by dinosaurs, raised and pushed to believe I got 1,000 miles in my bones beneath. I got acres of amber underneath. I got quarters of quartz in my teeth. Sometimes I was raised by dinosaurs, raised and pushed to believe he's a pterodactyl. I'm a fractal, translucent in a metaphysical reactor. I'm not a lacto mammal, I'm a raptor, ornithor, like an eagle. That front claw still taps the kitchen floor. And will become once more a pterosaur or a dino, albino rhino, relegated to a pictomorph. That front claw still taps the kitchen floor. Reaction metaphysical, embedded mineral, hang from a rock, fossilize your thoughts. That front claw still taps the kitchen floor. That front claw still taps the kitchen floor. Will become once more pterosaur or a dino. Embedded mineral, relegated mineral, fossilize your thoughts. Sometimes I was raised by dinosaurs, raised and pushed to believe I got 1,000 miles in my bones beneath. I got acres of amber underneath. I got quarters of quartz in my teeth. He's a pterodactyl. I'm a fractal, translucent in a metaphysical reactor. That front claw still taps the kitchen floor. That front claw taps the kitchen floor. That front claw taps the kitchen floor. Fossilize your thoughts. That front claw taps the kitchen floor.
Wow. Incredible. I'm loving this. This is fantastic. Freddie says hi from Stockholm.
Hi, Freddie. Who's Freddie? Wait, do I know Freddie? Is that my friend and I'm not sure? Hi, Freddie.
Elmagren. Could be your Freddie.
Oh my God! Hi! Oh my God!
Yeah.
Kisses! Sorry, I didn't know he was Freddie. I've known him as Frederick. That's amazing.
Frederick.
Oh, yeah. So cute.
Now we've got some international fans of yours.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm really happy, guys. I actually just realized, because I've been in New Zealand for a while now, and I've got this sort of European posse, crew, and because I was living there all last European summer, and I kind of forgot that was a thing until all this Corona stuff happened and I got locked down, and then I started contacting all my European friends and I was like, dude, I have so many friends all over the world. I'm really lucky that, it's really nice.
Well, the good thing is that I've just decided that I'm certainly going to do awesome dinosaur tunes are the best. This is from my cousin Nick in Amsterdam.
Well, funny. Did anyone actually pick up that where the soundscapes came from? I don't know. That's like a question to the crew, to the viewers.
Well,
if you picked up where the sounds came from.
The thing is, there's a small delay, there's a small delay between them actually receiving our feed. It's like 20 seconds, so they will answer, but they will answer in 20 seconds time.
True. Okay, cool. Never mind. But
it's it's sounding absolutely great, and like I just made a decision that you're certainly going to come on more and more to these. I'm going to probably do one of these like once every 2 months. Or maybe once every 6 weeks. I just need to check, but we'd definitely love to have you back on one of these for sure. How do you produce all of this? How do you go around doing this?
Yeah, so it's a bit easier for me to explain it now, actually. So I guess I'm an instrumentalist at heart. Like I started playing flute when I was 5, played piano, bass, guitar, sax, like all through childhood, like upbringing, and so I've definitely got a like instrumental background, and then I don't even really know when it began. I think I started a art residency in Paris, and I was kind of stuck inside because there was crazy things going on with the World Cup and stuff, and it was the middle of summer, and I just started doing like some beats on just what's the crap one? GarageBand.
Okay.
And I really didn't know what I was doing, but essentially I was just, because I was like traveling by myself and playing music, and I didn't have a drummer. So I'm like, I'm just going to make some beats and put some like loops together and mash up some like weird sounds that I found of monkeys and dinosaurs and things. That's how it started.
Where did you find all of those sorts of soundscape sounds?
Sorry?
Where did you find all of those sounds?
It's not that hard. I mean, I guess also because I've got a background in film.
Okay.
I've like done a little bit of sound editing for film, so I guess maybe I've got a bit of a broad approach to like what can go in music, because in film, obviously, there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of sound effects.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of view sound effects as like part of the music.
Okay.
So a lot of it's just honestly just ripping stuff from YouTube and taking like tiny sections. But it's like, pretty common use, like maybe a National Geographic video of monkeys or something like that.
That's incredible. So you basically just create like a sample almost. So it's a sample.
Yeah. And also I do borrow. So I'm just taking my socks off. I do borrow other people's samples, but I pay for them, so it's like all legit. As in, I use other people's samples.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, otherwise you've actually got to go around and record all these samples, which is a nightmare, I can imagine. I mean, to actually find or to record a sample of like all the sounds that you'd want to put into a track would be difficult.
Yeah, I know there's people who do it and it's like really their thing, and I think it's really amazing. There's people who go out in their cars into the bush and record leaves scratching and then turn it into like a sick snare or something. I feel like, that's really great for people who do that, and I think those people tend to have more like musical production backgrounds, so they're really into like sound editing and mixing and all that stuff, whereas I'm not very into mixing and mastering and like the fine tuning. I'm more into like collaging some stuff together and making it sound like decent enough that it's listenable, but I'm not really into like honing in and perfecting it.
I think it's great. So tell me, what were you doing in Berlin and all over the show? Give us a bit of background.
So I guess I started my like Euro trip in Paris because I was doing a residency at the Cité Internationale des Arts, which was an amazing opportunity where it was through my university in Tasmania. I got like a scholarship thing to go there for a few months, and then that was an art studio with like hundreds of other artists doing all types of genres: painting, drawing, architecture, dancing, music, and they had pianos that you could like use, and I ended up in a studio with a piano, which was seriously lucky. If anyone from the city's here, they'll be like, yeah, cool. They'll know what I'm talking about.
Funny enough, that's incredible. We just got a message from Zors. Hey, Click, we're watching you from Sitka's. Is that correct?
Oh, hi. Oh my goodness, yeah. Cute. I just want to kiss the screen to everybody. I know who that is.
But that's what the power of this platform is that you've got this incredible live situation where you've got people saying, hey, how's it going? And I love it.
George missed my glasses. I'm going to put these back on for that person.
Pink glasses.
Maybe he doesn't want me to say his name because he's really anti, surveillance and stuff. Yeah. But so anyway, to get to Berlin, I basically was traveling from Paris. I went to Berlin for a spoken word performance. Berlin spoken word is amazing. Anyone who's in Berlin, go join their online thing now, I guess.
Yes. For the next while.
And sorry?
For the next while, yes.
Yeah, for the next while. They've got online weekly poetry sessions. And basically I just completely fell in love with Berlin. The music, the street life, the random punk, lefty, weird anarchist shit. The heritage, the Cold War and how weird that was, Tempelhof, so many things about Berlin.
Oh, yeah.
And also just the crew and the capacity to play music and perform is nuts, next level. Every night of the week, if you want, you can play. So yeah, and then I ended up going
times.
there.
And you can play multiple times a night if you want.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. It's
totally
really
burnt
amazing.
out.
Sorry?
You can get totally burnt out here in Berlin, I think.
See, I didn't stay long enough to have that effect because people warned me. They're like, if you stay in Berlin, you're going to die.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm not that hardcore when it comes to illegal substances. So I understand why some people that would have the effect, but yeah, it's not.
Tell me, what are you doing down in Auckland?
Yeah, what am I doing in Auckland? Good question. I kind of just got here, to be honest. I started my New Zealand trip in January to do a summer tour. So I was playing at a few I don't know what word to use without sounding just alternative festivals. There we go.
Okay.
So some of them were quite like community, small, in little pockets of New Zealand that no one in that side of the world would have heard of. Taranaki, a little coastal surf town. So I was kind of midway through my tour. I played it just, I don't know, a few just different. I guess New Zealand's quite small, so it's got a good interconnected festival community. So I kind of knew a couple of the people who were organising festivals, and then I spoke to them. And
cool.
And so I was playing that, and then this all fell down, the world's events. Now I just kind of happened to be in Auckland because I had another show that was close to Auckland.
Okay. And then obviously this whole kind of stuff basically meant that you had to stay on.
Kind of, yeah. To be fair, I kind of was intending on staying on a bit anyway, but yeah, I wasn't totally 100% about being in Auckland for that amount of time. And I don't know, New Zealand's just really good for kind of travel because it's quite easy to travel around, and I was half living in a van. I have a van and I was living in it. So yeah, I was quite mobile and moving around places. So definitely that's ceased for the time being.
Okay. And obviously we've got your website up there in the details of the event. And what I'm going to do is I will just share that as well so that everyone is aware.
Cool.
So go and have a look if you want to know a little bit more about Karina. Karina kind of popped into my feed the other day on social media, on Facebook, and I was actually looking for a couple of artists to come and do this open mic type of experiment, and I think it's actually gone relatively well. Karina's popped up, and what a pleasure, and it's been fantastic to do a sound check this much earlier today, and then just make sure that everything was working, and it's really been fantastic. I'm super happy with the fact that you joined us today.
Cheers. Am I allowed to have time for one more?
Sure.
Oh, cool, because this is like the important song.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. It's also, yeah. Well, you'll see. You guys will see. I don't have to tell.
Sorry, before you start, Claire City Connection is also watching.
I want to kiss everyone, guys. Hey, I'm going to make a promise to everyone. Like, when this is over, I am totally going to come and, like, pash all my friends. And if you don't know what pash means, then figure it out. I'm pretty sure it's an Australian word, because I've said that to a few people and they're like, what's that?
We know what it means.
So warning. Not family members, though.
Stamp on that pedal.
Yeah, I should stop. Oh, hang on. No, I need to like be focused to this. Wait. Seeking solace in your room. This is a good move. Tourist in your bedroom, don't know what else I could say, but I don't think I could look at dust any other way. I'm a tourist in your bedroom, don't know what else I could do. Seeking solace in your room, don't know if this is a good move. I'm a tourist in your bedroom, don't know what else I could say, but I don't think I could look at dust any other way. I'll document the artifacts, silver instruments from the 50s, antiquities and ancient graphic strategies that look like torture devices in the movies, but were used to measure in straight lines. I look at faded photographs from Windows 95 with digital photo editing. Where's the dark room? These have aged horrendously, and I am cold like the war, because your heat is from the 1970s. All Berlin apartments I've seen, they have no lounge room. I guess I'll have to create one soon. And I lose 1,000 things a day. This feeling's gonna stick with me. This feeling's probably gonna stick with me, hey. Berlin is broken bricks on streets, buildings mostly brown or grey, numbers on streets disoriented disarray. It's okay, there's lots of playgrounds, sense of trust, TPs with open stages, markets selling sage, and I'm staying on. Karl Marx Forster. Tomorrow you will woodcarve, my friend. They say the world is an open place. Can I get an omen? Amen. Because you, sir, will be my phantasm. I'm a tourist in your bedroom. Ich bin ein Berliner. What Kennedy said when he went to the wall had it meant. I am a donut. That's an in-joke, not for all. This mashup of cultures and occupation, as you called it, by two warring forces. What a mess. Hence a wall, famous for being torn down. What a symbol. Is all this taken maketh by men with more powerful threatening weapons, a parapet to defend? Alas, but then, here I stand in your slender bathroom, my hands touching your walls. There hangs only an iron curtain as a door, and I bathe my feet in the sink to relinquish the freeze. You fetch me tea, happy, your presence near me. Berlin is broken bricks on streets, buildings mostly brown or grey, numbers on streets disoriented disarray. It's okay, there's lots of playgrounds, a sense of trust, TPs at open stages, markets selling sage, and I'm staying on Karl Marx Plus. The only good system is a sound system. I'm saying on Karl Marx Plus. Tomorrow you will wood carve, my friend. They say the world is an open place. Can I get an omen? Amen. Because you, sir, will be my phantasm. All through time, this story, empires have built walls or dividers against invading enemy forces, constructed castles, invented borders. But at Tempelhof, there's people riding bicycles and kids playing ball. So guess what? Walls do fall.
Wow, that's incredible. It's so fantastic. What a fantastic thing to end off this evening. What a great track. Absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for being the one to wake up so early and for testing the whole afternoon and just being on with us. We've had a fantastic evening. Thank you, Karina.
Yeah, thank you. Can I just say one more little public PSA on my way out?
Of course.
Anyone who is struggling and having a hard time with dealing with this whole shutdown and stuff, I'm totally available. Please call me. I would love to hear your voices. And even if you don't know me, you can look me up and call me. It's fine, because I know it's can be a bit of a struggle at times. So, yep, I'm here for you guys, humanity, the world. Thank you. And thank you so much for listening and attending. I really appreciate it. It's warmed my heart.
Thank you very, very much, Karina. And we'll be in touch and we'll definitely have you back in again, for sure.
And yeah, thank you so much for having me as well. I really appreciate the random invitation.
Hey, I had to come up with something because I'm still like figuring out how all this works and what works and which ones work and how much music to have, how much interview to have. So like I just have to play a little bit in the beginning until I get to a point where it's like, yeah, now it's really working. Good. Karina, have a good rest of your day, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Sorry, out of interest, is that thing, am I still allowed to press things on the chat?
Sure, you can go and you can say hi. You can go and type to them.
Oh,
you can
cool.
You can give them a chat. But thank you, everybody else, for coming through. Guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of our amazing discussion. Thanks to Nordi Blu. Thanks to Rani Adelbert. Thanks to Karina Kasten for just an incredible evening, incredible morning, incredible, fantastic. 3 countries in very different time zones. We will have one of these again. Lastly, please make sure that you donate if you can. Any donations would be really, really appreciated. And if you want to become a groupie on DA Musical's Patreon, there is a click to action. All you need to do is click over there. It's a minimum of $5 a month, which is not very much, to make sure that I can keep up with the quality, make sure that I can actually pay some artists as well, maybe look at a guarantee, like a guaranteed fee in the future. And